I worked with Dr. Jerry Graham. Unfortunately, he wasn't, he was a creep, is what he was. He was a creep. And he did something to me in the ring that I didn't know about. Well, he spit on me from behind. I didn't know
Mm.
that happened. And George Steele, as I walked in, said to me, if you ever let somebody do that to you again, you and I have a problem. I didn't know what was going on. And then a little further in the room, Bruno said to me, I'm really surprised that you didn't react to that. And I said, well, I don't know what you're talking about. So they told me uh, that night at a hotel, Jerry Graham, who was a bum, a terrible, terrible alcoholic and everything else, completely trashed the hotel room, did things that I won't even talk about in the bed and everything. So Vince fired him. So I didn't get to see him the next day. I saw him 4 years later in Amarillo. And there was a guy named Al Lovelock who I think was one of the assassins. They wore a hood. They were
Mm.
really, really hot and over in the NWA. He owned a little hotel rooming house and a bar in Amarillo. So I was traveling. I was living in Amarillo, but I was with Swede Hansen and Terry Funk, and they said, "Come on, let's stop over Al Lovelock's place, say hello." And came in and introduced me. I said, "I'm Mr. Lovelock. Really nice to meet you. I know who you were." And oh, kid. And out of the back, sweeping the floor, comes Jerry Graham. And I said, "Oh boy." So this is 1976. This is 1976. Uh, he came over. Of course, Swede Hansen knew him. Swede was an old timer. Terry knew who he was, and he knew who Terry was. He came over, and they said, "Hey, Doc, yeah, we want you to meet the new boy that's down here, Davey O'Hannon." And he stuck his hand out. I said, "We've met. We've met." So he said, "Well, what's the matter?" I said, "You spit on me." And I said, "No, I didn't like that, but you did it from behind like a coward." So he took a cigar and he said, "Well, then, punk, you must have deserved it." And
Mm.
that was the end of the conversation. I cracked him on the jaw, one of the best shots I ever gave anybody, right in the old knockout spot there, where it works immediately. And Terry Funk said, "Well, holy shit, good answer." And